Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome back to $3 Reviews, and this is one that I was asked to review because last night I had posted on Twitter that I finally got around to watching Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. As a 20 plus year fan of the franchise, I am supremely disappointed in myself that I did not go see this in theaters. I have a 10-month-old daughter. It makes it extremely difficult to get out to go see anything these days. So unfortunately, I have to really pick and choose. And this one, as well as pretty much everything else during the summer, fell by the wayside. In fact, I saw nothing in theaters in June, and it wasn't until mid July that I actually was able to get back and catch a couple films. So this one I had to wait for home video, and I watched it last night. And I have to say, I was a little bit worried at first. By the way, there's gonna be spoilers. If you don't know, there's gonna be tons of spoilers in this video. At first I was concerned when I started watching the trailers. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, I thought to myself, how are they gonna do it? Like it's what are they gonna do, right? Jurassic World I thought was a fun movie. I had a lot of fun with it. The very multiple times that I've seen it, it was definitely a nice return to the franchise. But I was really wondering where they were going to take Jurassic World 2 and Jurassic World 3 because those were confirmed. And this one, the trailer just says, oh, there's Isla Nublar is going to be exploding. There's a volcano, and they have to go rescue the dinosaurs. And I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. But then you have J.A. Boyega who directed it, and I haven't seen his other work, but I know he came from a horror perspective or horror background. And it's not Colin Trevorrow, but he co-wrote the screenplay and he's producing it alongside of Steven Spielberg. So what was going to be the big deal with this movie, right? Because the trailer, it didn't tell you much. It really didn't tell you much outside of the fact that it takes place years after the events of Jurassic World. Obviously, Owen and Claire are no longer together, as evidenced by the first trailer. They have to go rescue the dinosaurs. Blue apparently is going to be playing a very big part in this, and Rexy shows up a number of times, and that's cool, right? Like I was down for that because I again, old school 1993 Jurassic Park watcher multiple times in theaters. So the movie itself, I guess I kind of like quickly recap the story. So what you've got is Isla Nublar gonna blow up. All right. Ian Malcolm addresses Senate and basically is like, no, let these bastards die. Let them go. We brought him into this world. It's not our place. Let nature take him out once more and let's be done. And then Claire is trying to run some dino rescue operation. She ends up getting brought in to Benjamin Lockwood, who is Richard Hammond's. Well, you have Richard Hammond and Benjamin Lockwood. They were the ones that like co-created the technology. They were in business together. They ended up having a falling apart. This is the first time we've ever really learned about him, which I thought was a little bit interesting, because it's like, well, okay, so we knew Hammond, we knew InGen. Where is this guy coming into play? Where is this thing taking place at? And unfortunately, we didn't really know anything, and they didn't really give us much info, except for the fact that they have apparently created this sanctuary, this island sanctuary for dinosaurs, and they want to get the dinosaurs off of the island, and they want to make sure that they can get Blue, but they need Claire to go and get Owen in order to basically get in there and help track them down because they know the park better than anyone else who could possibly show one up. And so, of course, after a little bit of kind of friendly back and forth, whatever, they get on the plane together. They head down to Costa Rica. They get to the island, and a military operation is already in play. And I immediately had flashbacks to Jurassic Park, The Lost World, where you had InGen sending in the guys in order to retrieve the information. Because at the beginning of the movie, you have the whole scene of them going and finding Indominus Rex and cutting off one of its teeth in order to get the DNA. And then, of course, you've got the whole thing with them being like taken out and really kind of like setting the themes, the tones for what's to come. And I have to honestly say, the opening scene of the movie, and I skipped over this, the opening scene of the movie I really, really, really liked. Because I thought it really established what we were in for. I thought it really established a solid use of lighting to establish a very solid spook factor, right? And then looking at the director, him coming off of horror films, made a lot of sense that he was going to be really playing with that quite a bit. And he did, and it did it very, very, very well. I was very impressed with how the lighting was. And I'll talk about that too. There's a lot that really impressed me with the movie. not only from just from graphics to I enjoyed the story quite a bit, to a lot of the thematic elements, and how Michael Giacchino's score, while not heavily reliant on John Williams, was definitely its own thing that I feel really kind of captured a lot of the emotion in some of the scenes. I mean, I'm not talking like the first 9 minutes of the movie up, but still, it kind of one scene in particular really hit me. Anyway, they get out there. They have to go get Blue. Blue's the most important thing. They need Blue. They capture Blue. Blue gets shot. Owen gets tranked and left for dead. They basically kidnap the other doctor, forcing her to keep Blue alive, or else she's going to be killed. And then they all go take off the island as everything starts to explode. But Claire and the new guy, whose name I can't remember right now. Franklin Webb. That's it. There we go. Franklin. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right here, just so I have all the info. They go and they try to escape, and they come across another couple dinosaurs, and Owen shows up, and and the thing is, what I like though is in this scene, there's some key references to the other films. Like, for one, when they find Blue, they're at the original Jeep that fell off the side from the original T-Rex attack in the first movie. That's where the Jeep is at. That blew my mind. I was like, oh, it's the Jeep. As soon as I saw that it was upside down, I'm like, I recognize where they are, and then of course they also find the kind of self-guiding pod that Claire's nephews had in the first movie, and they're able to use that as a way to kind of get away. And again, I like that there's references back to the original film and the last film, and it might have been a little bit of fan service. Some might have called it nostalgia porn. I don't care. It worked for me. All right, I worked. And then of course, after as the island begins to erupt and everything, all the dinosaurs are trying to get out of there. And this is where it got sad because, well, what I liked about that scene, so they're racing on the dock, trying to get to the ship, trying to get on the last boat off the island so they don't die. And to me, that was like the most Indiana Jones part so far in the film. Like, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, no, they're directing this movie. Like they are literally directing Chris Pratt to be the new Indiana Jones. Like, this movie is full force Chris Pratt Indiana Jones. I mean, and evidenced by another scene later on where I'm like, he is totally Indiana Jones, and that sold me even further on the movie. I'm not even kidding you. So like, they go to the big explosions, they get on the truck, they race out of there, and as they get on the boat and they're watching the island, that and this is kind of like just. It was an emotional thing because we're watching Isla Nublar, an island that we've known in pop culture in these films for the last 20 some odd years, 25 years now. And we're watching it be just eviscerated by a volcano. And then you see a brontosaurus, a long neck, on the dock looking at them and just like, right. And you're just like, because my girlfriend is like, no, that she was really upset. She was like not happy in that scene at all. And then you see it, and then the smoke encapsulates it, and then it turns and he goes up on his hind legs, and you see like an amber encasement, right? I mean, obviously that was to represent the mosquito. That was to represent, kind of like, I guess you could say, Earth retaking it, so to speak. But you see that moment, and then gone. And I was legitimately sad. I was legitimately sad watching that. I was like, oh, that's fucking terrible, man. That made me really sad. And so then of course they get out to Lockwood's estate, because really at this point we find out that the one guy is trying to Eli, that's his name, Eli, is trying to sell everything to the highest bidder. He's trying to sell off these dinosaurs as a way to make more money to fund research to make the Indoraptor, which is going to be basically like a mixture of the T-Rex and a raptor. But Blue is the key, because Blue was kind of like an oddity in regards to how Owen was able to create the, to create the bond with Blue. It responds to empathy. It responds emotions, and it doesn't always attack. It actually needs a mother. It can feel, it can understand emotions. Really interesting stuff. And then of course, everything goes to shit, because it always does. The thing I found to be very interesting about the movie, though, I mean, goes to shit, they saved the day and whatever. But what I find to be very interesting about the film is the granddaughter, right? Lockwood's granddaughter, because there's something always up with her from the beginning. You kind of get the idea something is amiss with her. Like, as soon as we saw her, we got a couple scenes with them, and in the first act, I looked at my girlfriend. I'm like, oh, she's a clone. Point completely. She's a clone. And I was right. She's a clone. But we don't really go into the why. I mean, we get a bit of the why, but I feel like there's so many more scenes that were meant to kind of like uh, uh, make it more emotional. Why this was happening? Why she was a clone? Why Lockwood did this? Why he hid it from her? What her grand purpose in life was. Things along those lines. It just was things that did not get explained that I feel should have been explained, and that was unfortunate. But I kind of figured it out right away. I was right. And that kind of ties in later on because the once all the raptors or the Indoraptor gets free and starts trying to take everybody out, takes out a lot of people. They end up chasing it to the rooftop. I thought that was kind of dumb in terms of how they killed it, because they're on the rooftop on this glass dome thing or whatever, rooftop, and the weight of the Indoraptor and Blue fighting, makes it fall down into the museum where like there's the Triceratops, horns, and it kills the Indoraptor. And then all the other dinosaurs are trapped underground where they're going to be suffocated. They're going to be killed by cyanide. And Claire goes to open it, and Owen's like, "Are you sure?" And she says, she's like, "I can't let them die." But then he's like, "Once you do that, there's no going back. We're not on an island anymore. These dinosaurs will be free in the States. They'll be free here. And this is where they're going to live. This is where the things are going to change." And so she opts to not do it. And I thought that was really bold. I thought like, ooh, she's going to let them all die. But then the little girl, she frees them, and she's like, "Look, they're alive and I'm alive." You know what I mean? Like, so she understands that they're clones, that they have no idea what they are. They have no idea that they've done anything wrong. They haven't acted inappropriately. So why let them die? And of course that and that makes sense. And then of course, they all kind of like drive off into the sunset, so to speak, after Eli gets killed by T-Rex. T-Rex was kind of like the Deus Ex Machina a couple times in the film, which I thought was like funny, but at the same time, like, just don't do it again. Like, you've done it, you've run that joke into the ground. And now dinosaurs are everywhere. There's all the dinosaurs are now living in the Northwest, or North America. So it's like, where's it going to go next? Because the entire idea behind, and they mentioned this in Jurassic World, Vincent D'Onofrio mentioned this in regards to the military applications for the raptors. We saw that then brought into the next level where it's like the Indoraptor and it being used to like track down a target. I mean, you could essentially like have a soldier up on a rock and aim a laser at the target and then trigger it through sonic waves, and then the Indoraptor will just seek that thing out and kill it and anything else that gets in its way. Making it very efficient to hunt down, well, really to hunt in the Middle East is what they're talking about. And then of course we see, all these montages of where the dinosaurs go. Like Blue ends up going to Arizona. It looks like Arizona, New Mexico area, it's Southwest. We see the pterodactyls or whatever flying over the ocean. So now the dinosaurs are here. And we just don't know where things are going to go. They've made the mention about the third one possibly going to space, which I think is just going to be ridiculous. But what I think the third movie is going to be is, I think the third movie is going to end up being them taking down InGen once and for all, right? Like stopping Dr. Wong, which he, again, hasn't had much to do in the last two films. I think they're going to give BD Wong a lot more to do. And I think that they're going to do a lot in regards to stopping the experiments and everything. It's probably gonna have a real PETA message and whatever, which I'm okay with actually. But I really enjoyed the way that J.A. Bayona, is it Boyega or Bayona? Am I saying it wrong? It's Bayona. Sorry, I've messed that up. I'm pretty sure the comments are already going to remind me of that one. But I really appreciate the way he directed the film. There are many points in this movie where it did feel like Spielberg himself was behind the camera. It really did. This was the most Spielbergian sequel to Jurassic Park. This is the one also that felt more like Michael Crichton's original vision versus what we got with The Lost World. The Lost World, I know Crichton wrote it. I think Crichton wrote it specifically because the movie made so much money and they needed a sequel. But this one, just in terms of where business was going to take it and where things were going to go, and also the dark nature of it, I believe was the most Crichton-esque take on it. And I really enjoyed it for that. There's a lot of great use of shadows, a lot of great use of lighting, again, that really felt Spielbergian to me. like more so than Colin Trevorrow being kind of mentored by Spielberg, you know. And same with even J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams, I don't think could nail this the way that J.A. Bayona did. I think he brought it and he made it his own in a way that, honestly, I know Trevorrow is doing Jurassic World 3, but I would kind of want to see what Bayona would do with it. I think he would be a better choice at this point, given the thematics that they've established and what's going to be coming down the pipeline for the third film. I would argue that probably the weakest point is, in terms of production value, is probably Michael Giacchino's score. It was not bad. It was not John Williams. It was very soft. It was very soft and melodic at times, not in a bad way, but not also in a way that got me hyped up. You know, because there's always the scenes like you first movie where Ellie gets out of the Jeep and looks up and sees the long necks, and you got that like da na na da na na da na 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 na, and you're like, yeah. I remember that moment, like when I was in the theater for the first time. The music swells and you see it, and he's like, "Welcome to Jurassic Park," and you're like, "Oh my god!" It blows your damn mind. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this movie didn't have that through score. Had other moments that were really good, but it didn't have it through a score. So I would definitely recommend it. I would definitely go into it, understanding that it's something to really kind of just like enjoy from a very Spielbergian Michael Crichton collaboration type thing. That's what it feels like to me. The movie grossed about $1.3 billion in the worldwide box office. Not as much as Jurassic World, which was about $1.5 billion, but still not bad. We're obviously going to get the third one, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot more after that, because Universal at this point has a fundamental understanding about how to operate franchises that are not named the Dark Universe. So that being said, this is my very long-winded review that is in no way structured or formatted. Obviously, if you watch these, you know that I just kind of ramble through it. I really appreciate you guys checking out. If you saw it and you liked it or you didn't like it, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. My name, of course, is Matt Jarbo. This has been 3 Buck Reviews. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.